High atop the rugged cliffs of the Dustwind Valley, where sharp rocks rose like ancient teeth and the wind carried long, wandering whistles, lived a thoughtful raven named Kara. Unlike other ravens who filled the sky with loud caws and endless chatter, Kara preferred silence. He observed more than he spoke, thought more than he moved, and noticed details that most birds never paid attention to. His feathers shimmered like polished midnight, and when he flew, he looked like a slice of night drifting across daylight. Kara had built his nest deep inside a small hollow in the cliff wall. From there, he could see everything: the golden grasslands below, the thin river that curved like a silver thread, and the narrow, rocky trail that stretched across the valley like a path drawn by a hesitant hand. His life was simple, peaceful, predictable. At least, that was what he believed. One scorching afternoon, when the valley shimmered under the heavy heat, and even the breeze seemed too tired to move, Kara returned to his nest carrying twigs for repairs. But as he approached the hollow, a subtle vibration spread through the stone, one he recognized instantly. A slow, crawling hiss. Calm, cold, patient. Kara froze midair, his wings catching the still heat as he glided silently closer. When he reached the edge of the hollow, his heart clamped painfully. Coiled inside the entrance was a long, dark-scaled serpent, Vesher, a snake known across the valley for his venom, his silence, and his cruel intelligence. His eyes glimmered like drops of poison in a well of darkness. And between his jaws dangled something precious, one of Kara's eggs, cracked, fragile, trembling. Vesher flicked his tongue lazily. Such a lovely nest, Raven. Shame you failed to protect it. Kara's wings stiffened. Put the egg down. Oh, I will, Vesher murmured, tightening his coils. But not the way you prefer. The egg slipped another inch. Kara dove forward on instinct, but the serpent lifted his head instantly, jaws opening wide in warning. One more step, he hissed softly, and this egg becomes nothing but a memory. Kara halted. He had strength, yes, but speed was on the serpent's side. One careless move, and everything would shatter. Vesher tilted his head, satisfied with the fear in Kara's eyes. I like it here, he continued. Warm, safe, hidden. I think I shall stay. Old nests make perfect beds. This nest is mine, Kara growled. Leave. Vesher chuckled, the sound low and venomous. Make me. And with an effortless flick of his jaw, he let the egg fall. Kara dove like a bolt of black lightning. He caught the egg an instant before it shattered against the stone. His wings trembled from the strain, but he held it safely. When he returned it to the nest, Vesher had already slithered deeper into the hollow, coiling himself comfortably among the twigs. You see, the serpent said, this is my home now. Kara perched silently outside the hollow. He looked into the darkness where the serpent rested. He could not fight. He could not scare him. He could not beg. So he did what thinking creatures do best. He began to plan. The first attempt, asking for help. The next morning, Kara flew through the valley seeking anyone who might help remove the serpent. He spoke to prairie dogs, hares, crows, and even the old tortoise who lived near the river's bend. But everyone backed away. The serpent is too quick, warned the prairie dog. He is too silent, said the hare. He is too venomous, muttered an old crow. By sunset, Kara sat alone on a crooked branch overlooking his own stolen home. The eggs were safe, for now, because Vesher had no reason to harm them yet. But the serpent was growing more comfortable each hour, stretching, settling, claiming. Kara tried talking again. Why do you want my nest? There are many hollows in this valley. Because yours, Vesher whispered, is perfect, and I enjoy watching you worry. Kara stayed silent, but deep inside, something sharpened. If strength could not win, then intelligence would. The second attempt, planting fear. Kara flew far across the valley until he reached the cave of the old hyena, a creature with a voice loud enough to rattle stones and a reputation that frightened even predators. Hyena, Kara said respectfully, I need your help. The hyena smirked. And what will a tiny bird give me in return? Nothing. You only need to laugh. The hyena blinked. Laugh? What? 3 loud laughs, Kara said, right in front of my nest. That's all. The hyena's curiosity was enough. Very well, Raven, show me the place. When they arrived at the cliffside, the hyena planted his paws on the rocky ground and unleashed His second roar echoed across the valley. His third laugh bounced off the cliffs like a rolling storm. Inside the hollow, Vesher twitched. Annoyance, then suspicion, then unease. The serpent slid halfway out of the nest entrance. "Who makes such noise?" he hissed. Kara pretended to tremble, making himself look smaller, weaker. The hyena, keeping his promise, simply turned and walked away without another word. Now, with the serpent halfway out of the nest, Kara's third and final plan could begin. The final plan, turning the valley against fear. Vesher slithered farther out, scanning for danger. He saw nothing, but he did not notice the quiet rustle of small creatures gathering at Kara's signal. Kara took a deep breath. Then, in a sharp, ringing voice that carried across the rocks, he cried, "The serpent is exposed. Anyone who fears him, now make yourselves heard." Suddenly, the valley awoke. Squirrels chattered and stamped their tiny feet. Mice squeaked loudly from beneath stones. Sparrows fluttered furiously. Lizards scraped their claws. Even insects buzzed in a rising chorus. Not to attack, but to overwhelm. Vesher's coils tightened. He twisted, hissed, looked around frantically. Too many sounds, too many movements, too many threads he could not see. Serpents fear chaos more than claws or teeth. And Kara knew that. The noise grew, layered and wild, echoing from every corner. Vesher backed away from the nest instinctively. Further, further, until at last he was completely outside, exposed to the open rocks below. "Leave," Kara commanded. "This valley has no place for tyrants." Overwhelmed and unable to hunt or hide in the commotion, Vesher turned sharply and slithered into the tall grass, disappearing in a furious ripple of scales. And just like that, silence returned. A home restored. The other creatures gradually drifted away, their voices fading. Kara entered the hollow, checked every twig, every egg, every corner. Everything was safe. He settled over his eggs, warmth returning to his wings, and whispered, "Strength doesn't always win. Sometimes survival belongs to the one who keeps thinking." In the days that followed, the creatures of Dustwind Valley often spoke of Kara, not as the quiet raven who kept to himself, but as a symbol of patience, intelligence, and courage without violence. And high above the valley, in the restored hollow of the cliff, the raven finally slept peacefully, knowing that wisdom had protected what strength never could.